Well, hey guys, in today's video, we're going to be talking all about Keratosis Pilaris on the face, and I'm going to be sharing with you some skincare products to help out KP on the face. But before getting into it, give this video a thumbs up if you like skincare content from a board-certified dermatologist. Be sure you're subscribed and you have your bell notifications on. That way YouTube lets you know as soon as my videos go live and you don't miss out on them. Keratosis pilaris. I know a lot of you guys deal with this. It is a dry skin condition where you get a buildup of dry skin around the hair follicle, and it's oftentimes surrounded by redness. It can happen truthfully anywhere that you have hair, but it most commonly affects the upper arms, the thighs, it can affect the abdomen, and as in the case of today's video, we're going to be talking about it when it happens on the face. What can you do to control it? It really can affect someone's self-esteem quite a bit. Of course, people have to comment anytime there is something going on visible, whether it be on your skin, your hair. Now, we're coming into the cooler, colder months, aka heaters are getting cranked on, and this is a time of the year where keratosis pilaris really can get flared up and become aggravated. And you can have a lot of facial redness. So here are some basic tips for keratosis pilaris, whether it's on your face or elsewhere on your body. Similar tips that I always give when we're talking about dry skin conditions. You don't want to over cleanse. You shouldn't be washing your face any more than twice a day. More frequent cleansing, it can end up drying out your skin. Don't pick at the little bumps. That can just make things worse. Whenever you pick, you traumatize the skin barrier, you lose more water, it leads to more dryness, not to mention you can put yourself at risk for infection or scarring. I suggest getting a humidifier to run in the bedroom at night. This goes for everybody with dry skin, but in the case of keratosis pilaris, it certainly can help quite a bit, especially when you put the heater on that pulls moisture out of the air, and there's more of an impetus for water to exit your skin, worsening dry skin and making those bumps even more noticeable, and you end up with a lot more background redness to boot. And introduce products into your routine slowly that have either alpha hydroxy acids or urea. Skincare products with either of these ingredients, they work to soften and gently exfoliate that dry, built-up skin. If you have very sensitive skin, another class of ingredients that can benefit you is called a polyhydroxy acid. Includes things like gluconolactone, zinc gluconate. These are a lot more gentle, but they get the job done of gently exfoliating. Urea, alpha hydroxy acids, and or polyhydroxy acids, not only do they help with exfoliating that dry, built-up skin, but they also act as humectants, meaning they help to improve the water content of the skin barrier. And ultimately, when the water content of the skin barrier is teed up, the skin turnover goes a lot more smoothly and it's less prone to having that heaped up, built up, dry stuff accumulating within the hair follicle. But you have to be careful when it comes to choosing products, because a lot of products out there that have alpha hydroxy acids, they may be a little bit too intense, meaning they're meant for exfoliating, of course, and they may be formulated to be quite strong, and they can be too irritating. If they're too strong, they're too irritating, it can end up drying out your skin and making the KP worse. I've selected here what I consider to be great choices for keratosis pilaris on the face. First and foremost, it's probably going to surprise you because the way this product is marketed, you're going to pass right by it if you have KP. And it's the CeraVe Skin Renewing Nightly Exfoliating Treatment. This has lactic acid and glycolic acid at a total percentage of 5%, and it also is in a very moisturizing background. The other ingredients in it include things like hyaluronic acid and ceramides, which are helpful for the moisture barrier. So I really like this product for KP on the face because not only do the hydroxy acids get in there and tackle that rough buildup, but then the other ingredients, they're moisturizing. They address the skin barrier thing. They're really gonna step in to help the skin not lose water as readily in the long run. The reason I said you might just walk past this is it's marketed as an anti-aging serum and for dark spots. So you may not think to use this for keratosis pilaris. It wouldn't surprise me if CeraVe or another brand came out with a similar product to this and marketed it for people with keratosis pilaris. Basically the same kind of thing. But anyways, all that to say, in addition to the alpha hydroxy acids, the ceramides, this also has licorice root extract, which can really help with that redness piece. Licorice root is anti-inflammatory, so that can really help. Part of what happens with KP is that as you're losing more water and the skin's just not quite as good, especially around the hair follicle, at keeping moisture in and efficiently shedding dry built up skin, you also get a lot of inflammation. You can get background redness. It's called KP rubra. It's especially noticeable on the cheeks because your face has a lot more blood vessels than, you know, like your thighs, for example, if you've got KP on your thighs. But really, KP anywhere on the body, KP is short for keratosis pilaris. It can come with redness, but it's like pretty noticeable on the face. You're probably wanting to combat that. So this is great for that reason. It's got the licorice root in there, which will help with the redness. Now, you only need a very thin film of this, and here's the thing, you may be inclined to use it to all of your face. That's kind of what it's intended for. But if you've got KP, you might just want to use it to the problem areas. It'll make it last longer. How do you use this? I do suggest, because it is an alpha hydroxy acid product, they can be irritating, they can sting, especially if you have very sensitive skin. I do suggest doing a test spot first, a patch test, just to make sure that you're going to tolerate it okay. Once you kind of feel it out and get a sense that you can tolerate it okay, introduce it into your routine very slowly, using it just 1 day a week, and then bumping up to every other day, and then daily as tolerated. Now, this is marketed as a nightly exfoliating treatment. Truthfully, you can use it in the morning or in the evening. You want to apply it to the skin, to clean skin, after cleansing, to the skin while it's either a little bit damp or completely dry. If you apply it to the skin while it's a little bit damp, it may sting, it'd be more likely to sting. Again, you really only need a very thin film. Be careful not to get it near the eyelids or around the mouth because the hydroxy acids can be too irritating there. I kind of consider this as like almost like amlactin for the face. Amlactin is a product that I also frequently recommend when I'm talking about keratosis pilaris on the body, but it's too strong for the face, and they specifically caution you not to use it on the face. This would be a much better alternative. You get the benefits of the alpha hydroxy acids, but it's not as, you know, harsh, it's not as likely to sting. Importantly though, because this has alpha hydroxy acids, they will make your skin more sensitive to the sun. You'll be at a slighter increased risk of a sunburn with a product like this. So of course it is super duper important that you be wearing sunscreen, which you should be doing anyway. Wear sunscreen, and you know, if you're gonna be outside, make sure you're wearing a hat. All those things we always talk about in terms of sun protection. I mentioned you can use this in the morning or you can use it in the evening. You can use it daily if you tolerate it. So that's a great one from CeraVe. And again, like you probably wouldn't ever think of it for your keratosis pilaris, but it's got the ingredients in there that are great for KP, and it is not a, you know, super intense peel type product. It's really just meant to smooth the skin surface and help break up that dry built up stuff. If you have some background hyperpigmentation, this product will help you out. And I've got a video, as a side note, talking all about the benefits of alpha hydroxy acids in terms of an anti-aging effect, so check that out, but that would be a great one. So I mentioned alpha hydroxy acids. I happen to think that they are a bit superior to salicylic acid in terms of how they perform for keratosis pilaris. Salicylic acid, however, it really loves to get into the pore. Some people find that their KP just responds better to salicylic acid. Fine. For example, CeraVe has the rough and bumpy skin product that has salicylic acid in it, and a lot of people swear by that. You know, it's really helpful for their KP, whereas other people are more team amlactin. And as a side note, I have a video comparing the two. Anyway, when we're talking about the face, this is a newer product from Cetaphil. Again, one that you probably would just walk right past and not consider for keratosis pilaris on the face because it's marketed as an acne treatment. It is their new Cetaphil Gentle Clear Triple Action Acne Serum. This is a cool product because it's got a low percentage of salicylic acid, 0.5%, and it also has polyhydroxy acid, gluconolactone. Remember, that is a gentle, hydrating exfoliant. So this would be a great choice as well. I recommend using it in the same fashion that you would use the CeraVe product. Choose one, don't use both, but choose one. Like the CeraVe product, this is in a vehicle that's actually pretty hydrating and moisturizing. It's not drying. And so I think it's a great choice for KP. Again, you don't need very much, just a very thin film applied to clean skin. You can use it in the morning or in the evening. If you're trying to decide between the two, if you tend to be a little bit more sensitive, I would suggest going with the Cetaphil Gentle Clear because it is less likely to sting in comparison to an alpha hydroxy acid product. And if you're someone who tends to also maybe have acne, I would suggest the Cetaphil product. Whereas if you're somebody who has a lot more skin texture that you're looking to improve the appearance of, and or you also maybe have some background hyperpigmentation, this would be a good choice. I mean, both are great. We're splitting hairs in terms of the outcome. They're both going to help with smoothing the skin surface. This one may be a little bit more pore-centric. The Cetaphil Gentle Clear product also has prebiotics in it, which may help with feeding the healthy bacteria on your skin. And it also has succinic acid, which may be anti-inflammatory. So it has some other beneficial ingredients in it, but really what's doing the work here for the KP is the salicylic acid and the polyhydroxy acids. If you are really sensitive, or you just want a little bit something extra, definitely check out this newer product from Aveeno. It's their Calm and Restore Nourishing PHA Exfoliator. This product is basically like the consistency of a lightweight lotion that you massage onto the face. You can massage it just to the areas where you have the KP, and the polyhydroxy acids can help to gently exfoliate that dry, heaped up stuff, softening the bumps and allowing them to exfoliate. I like this product because, you know, you use it and then you rinse it off and that's it. It's not harsh, it's not meant to like really degrease the skin or anything like that. So it's very mild. I wouldn't necessarily gravitate towards this as your face wash to remove stuff. It is meant just as a short contact time with the polyhydroxy acid. So it's very gentle, but it can be effective when used on a daily basis. I would suggest incorporating this maybe in the morning, for example, as the first step in your morning routine. You just massage it onto either damp or dry skin, and then you rinse it off, or you can even towel it off. So you don't even need to rinse it off. In addition to the polyhydroxy acid gluconolactone, this also has oat kernel oil, which is has anti-inflammatory compounds. And the nice thing about this too is, like, a lot of people with KP, they are tempted to use more abrasive things to exfoliate that dry built up stuff. And that's certainly an option, but it can actually end up being more irritating in the long run. I like hydroxy acids. They're more precise. They have more of a mechanism for getting the skin cells to break apart and shed, as opposed to when you come in with a scrub, a mechanical exfoliant. Well, then you're just kind of chipping away at paint, so to speak, as opposed to precisely kind of dissolving exactly what needs to be dissolved and shed, and not much else. So I like hydroxy acids as exfoliants for that reason, especially in keratosis pilaris, because if you step over the line and exfoliate too much, it's going to worsen the issue for you. It's going to worsen transepidermal water loss. You're going to have more redness. That's not what you want. You don't want to come out of the bathroom from your skincare routine beet red because you have been sanding and a buffing and a peeling and a whatnot. So go mild. This isn't going to make you like exquisitely sensitive. I mean, it's meant for people who have sensitive skin. So I mentioned urea as another ingredient to consider in skincare products for rough and bumpy skin, keratosis pilaris, dry skin conditions. It's underrated. It's an underrated ingredient. It's already naturally found in your skin. It's part of your skin's natural moisturizing factor, and it helps not only to soften and exfoliate, but it's hygroscopic. It helps with hydration, really a beneficial ingredient, and it helps kind of encourage your skin barrier to make the stuff that it needs and to function better. Really great ingredient. However, you've got to be careful. Don't just go out and get like a urea foot cream and put it on your face. Those are typically too strong. You do want to use a dedicated facial product. Here in the US, I don't see many facial products marketed as containing urea. Some of them do. You will find facial moisturizers that have urea, but it's not like they're selling ingredient. They'll usually feature some other ingredient or just call it a moisturizer. They won't market it as a urea face cream. That is rare to encounter. they exist, they're just not marketed that way, which I don't know. Maybe it's because urea, people find it off-putting, sounds like urine, I don't know. So y'all will recall, who have watched me for a while, that, what was it, last year? Or actually maybe it was over the summer, man, time flies. I was using the Eucerin Urea Face Cream. Highly recommend that, 5% urea, love it. Free of fragrance. I've always said this, Eucerin, they don't make a bad product. That one is great. It's not sold in the US market. Like if you go out to Walmart or whatever, you're not gonna see it in the store. I buy it on Amazon. It goes in and out of stock. But a product that is equally as good with urea, also fragrance free, is from Neopharm in their Zeroid line, the Racinic Cream Urea 5%. I likewise love this. If you're wondering this versus the Eucerin one, just pick one, whichever one is less expensive, because honestly, they're pretty identical in terms of the results and the outcomes. I mean, I use these actually comfortably twice a day. You can use these urea face creams. They may make your skin a little bit more sensitive as they are exfoliating and smoothing things out. So be careful if you are using retinoid. It may increase the irritancy. It's not necessarily specifically contraindicated, but you will have to kind of figure that out yourself, whether or not you want to use it in the morning or in the evening. But the urea face cream can be used twice a day if you wanted to. No issues there. Just kind of see what your skin tolerates. If it tolerates it once a day and no more, fine. If it tolerates only using it a few times a week, that's fine too. It will still be beneficial for softening that dry, built up stuff. So that is the skincare product roundup for Keratosis Pilaris on the face. Take home point though, Keratosis Pilaris, there's not a cure for it. It comes and goes. You kind of have to just stay on top of these things. Yes, it can kind of burn out, but it certainly can reappear. For me personally, I do deal with it as well. Mine's on the back of my thighs. I've never had it on my face. And I always forget to put moisturizer back there, and it's like, oh, time to bust out the amlactin. But as a reminder, the body care products with hydroxy acids or urea, you don't necessarily want to use those on your face. It can be too harsh. Stick to facial care products meant for facial skin. It is more delicate and prone to sensitivity and irritation. All right, let me know in the comments though, if you're somebody who has dry skin and or Keratosis Pilaris, is it getting revved up now that we're in fall and the temperature is getting cooler wherever you live? It's not necessarily too cool here though. But I hope this video was helpful to you guys. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and as always, don't forget, sunscreen and subscribe. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye.